Oops. Well, why are you still playing? Stop playing the music, computer. I tried to buy myself a couple of minutes so I could go pick out my fabric. It was just enough countdown music to get all my windows and everything situated. So hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, everybody. Mom is in the room, but she doesn't have a microphone. I don't think she'll be up here very long. So we'll just, you'll probably hear her in the background. If I need to repeat anything that she says, I'll let you know. But for me, for tonight, it's probably just going to be me for most of the evening, which is fine. I feel like it has been a minute since I've done a live stream by myself with all of you, and I'm looking forward to it. It's also Memorial Day weekend, which means I have a 3-day weekend that is going to be filled with some sewing. I have the 2023 Fat Quarter Shop Designer Mystery Quilt that I am really excited about because I followed along with that and for the most part stayed on track with that one. All of the blocks were done every month as they came. However, some of them got done just a little bit late, but all 12 blocks are put together. And so now what I'm doing is going back and putting them into their finishing layout. So there may or may not be a surprise live stream Sunday night where I just do a late night sew after Tiffany is done with her live. And if it doesn't happen Sunday night, maybe it'll happen Monday morning. We'll see. I have no plans for Memorial Day. My stepson is coming to stay with us Sunday night, and so he'll be here Sunday midday. We're going to keep him overnight, and that means Monday morning my husband will be taking him back down to Richmond, so there are no family plans to do anything. That's how our holidays usually go. Anytime there's a holiday, the day before, my husband goes to get my stepson, brings him home, keeps him for an overnight, and so on that holiday, when we have no work and everybody else is out celebrating, I'm usually at home alone until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think I'm going to spend the day doing some sewing, which I am actually excited about. I feel like there are probably folks out there that are thinking, oh my gosh, that sucks for you. And you know what? No, it does not. I have a job that is very engaging, and for the most part, especially when I'm busy, I deal with people all day long. I do a whole lot of talking. And I am welcoming 3 days of not talking for the most part, unless it's about quilting or something that I enjoy. But it also means I don't have to get up, I don't have to get dressed, I don't have to do anything. So I'm really excited and looking forward to all of that. Tonight, Mom is started working on a string block quilt. I have cut up some strips of fabric off of a fat quarter bundle that she has been oogling on my shelves for a while. So there is now a hole in the shelf that has all of my fat quarter bundles because she's commandeered one for herself, and that is quite all right. Personally, I think she's going to have tons left over because a fat quarter bundle is enough to make a huge quilt and have plenty of scraps. So she's working on that now, but that is not what I'm going to be working on. I promised you guys last week that we were going to put pillowcases together because our friends, the boys over at So Yeah Quilting, are doing a service project, and they are asking for you to make a pillowcase using the Burrito Pillowcase method, and then to get them into them by May 31st. I'm not exactly sure. I'm horrible. I don't have all of the details, but I know many of you out there do, so feel free to put them in the chat. And even better, if you want the details from So Yeah, feel free to go over to their website, soyaquilting.com, or check out their YouTube channel, and all that information will be there. But this is a great service project. I also am sure that it is for a great cause. I just don't know what it is. The guys always have some sort of service project going on. I know around the end of the summer they usually do an Alaska quilt drive, so that'll be coming up pretty soon too. Yeah, pretty quiltly. That'll be coming up pretty quiltly. That'll be coming up soon. So don't forget, if you have some quilt tops that just haven't been quilted and you have no idea what you're going to do with those might make an awesome donation quilt for the Alaska quilt drive. All right. I'm going to make a pillowcase. I'm going to show you how to make one. And if I have time before 10 p.m., I'm normally live for about 2 hours, then I might do a couple more. However many I make on the live stream tonight. Yeah, however many I make on the live stream tonight, I will throw into a poly mailer and ship off to Vegas. And hopefully the brothers will get it before the end of the week. So let's slip over to, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I'm not. I lied. Well, please forgive me if I... Oh, yep, I'm going to sneeze. Holy cow. Apparently, I'm just going to sit here and tell you I'm going to sneeze all night, and I'm not going to do it. So there is that. I will slide over to the chat really quick, and I just want to say hi to a few folks. I know y'all have been chatting and sending me some infos and messages, and I just want to acknowledge that I'm seeing them. So Tiffany from Tiffany's Quilting Life is here. She's here. She said, I am... not in chat tonight. I am just listening. I'm binging Star Wars movies with Scott this weekend. Yay! Yay! So don't forget to check out her channel. She'll be live Sunday night. We've got, let's see if there are any green names. We've got Math Geek, Doreen Gurin, Pat Strawhouse, who says, hello, Mama Nancy. Hello, Miss Pat. Becky Spencer is here and says hello to everybody. Sherry Yu is here. Ruth Roberts. She says, I love this retirement thing. Sheila Gage is here as well. We've got Patty, Stitch in Time. I see you put Patty next to your name. Thank you, Patty. That makes it a little bit easier to remember who you are. Alita Brown says, hello, Becca and everyone. Hope you are enjoying the holiday weekend. Same to you, my friend. Irish Sail Lady tagged me in a comment, said, good evening, all in the chat. Thumbs up, and I'll be back. Awesome. All right. Let's see if we've got Jackie is here. Jackie DBD Stitch Art. Judy is asking a question. She says, how did your allergy testing go? Actually, let's talk about that before I start sewing. If you're curious, these are the papers that the allergist gave me. Hold on, I've got a fan blowing in my face, which I think is also tickling my nose. So I'm going to turn this off because I was a little warm before the live stream. So I wanted to get some air moving, but I also turned the thermostat down in here because you're going downstairs. Okay, it's okay. Go ahead. It's fine. I got it. I'll come down later. You don't have to give me the look. I believe you. I believe you. I believe you don't feel good. It's okay. Go. She's looking at me like this. I can't wave a wand to make it better. All right, I'll come down later, okay? That's fine. I might not.
Well, that's kind of what I know.
Katie Vaught is here. She is also one of my channel supporters. Thank you. We also have Zaza Burns here. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. All right, so the allergy funness that happened. So last week, this past Monday, for those of you that don't know, let me bring you up to speed in case you missed the live stream last week. Taking a breath so I can get all the words out. I feel like I've been... So this past Monday, I finally bit the bullet several weeks ago, and I made an appointment with an allergist to be screened for asthma, as well as get tested to find out what the heck I'm allergic to. I've had instances over the past year or so, maybe a little bit longer, that make me wonder if I have asthma. And there's been a couple of times where I've gone into the doctor and she's heard wheezing in my lungs when I didn't appear to have a sinus infection or something else going on. And so she just wanted to have that checked out. This has been something that this is my old doctor has been asking me to do as well. And I just never made the time for it because I felt like, well, I can control my allergies with a pill, except not always. So I bit the bullet and I finally went in. So let me tell you how they do this. In case you don't know, though I am sure 99% of you out there do know. So the first thing I did when I got to the appointment is they screened me for asthma, and they make you blow into this thing and push out as much air from your lungs as possible and keep going. And what they're doing is measuring how quickly you're moving the air out of your lungs, something like that. Anything above 80% they consider to be absolutely normal. My lungs were 95%. So he said that doesn't mean that I don't have asthma flare-ups that could be triggered by allergies, but it does mean that I don't have any long-term, non-stop asthma issues. So thank God, hallelujah, yes, 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 I'm good with that. The second thing that he said is that we were going to test to see what I was allergic to. And the way they do this is with a series of pricks into your skin. So they come in, they have you take your shirt off. Spoiler alert, if you go do this, take a quilt. It's cold in that room. I did not know that I was going to have to take the shirt off because I thought they were going to do it like on my lower arm. But had I thought about it, I would have brought a blanket, like a small lap quilt or something to kind of just cover up with and maybe have a little bit of modesty. So I came in and I sat down, and the nurse and I, she was hilarious. We got along absolutely well. And she came in, she explained the whole procedure to me. She said she's going to have me lift my shirt up, and she's going to do 51 pricks on my back and let it sit for 10 minutes. And then that will tell me what I'm allergic to from that series of pricks. And then anything that I didn't react to, they're going to take a stronger dose and put those in my arm. And so when she started pricking me in the back, I was like, well, I already think I'm allergic to dogs and cats, and I'm sure I'm allergic to pollen and dust. And she was like, okay, so environmental stuff. I was like, yep. And she was like, all right, not a problem. And so she does the pricks on the back, and this is my allergy report. So after she does that, she says, well, you weren't allergic to dogs and cats. I was like, oh, that's odd. Okay. She's like, but you were allergic to every grass known to man. And she's like, and just a little bit of weeds. And I was like, just a couple of weeds. And I was like, all right, fair. I was like, and for just a moment, I was kind of like, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is like, how is there something else going on? Because I thought whatever came out of the first one probably wasn't going to change the second round. She's like, everybody's different. Sometimes the second round you'll do and you'll have nothing. But the idea is they're going to subject you to a bigger dose of it to see how your body reacts. So the takeaway here is what they put in your back is a much smaller dose. So that would indicate, I would think, a hypersensitivity to that item. It's a smaller dose, and then they give you a rating on a scale of 1 to 4 as to how that plays out. And for all of the grass, I got like a 3 or a 2. So take that for what you will. After we did that, then she rolled up my arm, and I still have bumps under here. It does last for a couple of days, and you are a little itchy a couple of days later, but it's nothing that you can't deal with. It's not just keep that in mind. I see Danelle said, thank you for talking about this because I'm going for my first initial visit this coming June 10th. So nothing to worry about. You can totally get through it. Very, very sharp needles, so they just feel like you're poking yourself with a pin. It's totally fine. They just have to do a lot of them. And if you have a good allergist, they're going to do it really quick and you're going to be fine. All right. So then the round 2 comes in, and they poke everything in my shoulder. And because I didn't react to a whole lot of stuff on my back, that meant I had the bigger syringes and a whole lot of them. But then those results came back. As she was going, there were a couple spots I was like, is it supposed to start itching like right now? And she was like, well, yeah, it could. And I was like, okay. She's like, don't touch it. Don't scratch it. Just leave it alone. I'll be back in 10 minutes. So I buried my nose in my phone so that I would be distracted. And then she came back and did the reading. And let me just tell you, I'll sum it up. I am allergic to all trees except for elm, oak, and pecan. I am allergic to all molds and funguses, and I am allergic to all dust mites and animals and insects except for cockroaches and horses. So I came home and I shared all that with my husband, and he was like, so what you're telling me is you want to trade the dogs in for a horse? I was like, yeah, if they weren't so much work. I'll keep the low maintenance dogs, thanks. But all of that explains why I stay congested and why I have all of the things going on with my sinuses that I do. A couple of years ago, the doctor did send me to an ear, nose, and throat specialist, and they wanted to remove my tonsils and my adenoids and break my nose and fix it and then put balloons, like a sinus rhinoplasty. It was a whole mess. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Ignorance is bliss. I did not do it. But I'm kind of happy about that because I have heard a lot of people that have done that procedure, and then they've talked later about how they had to have it redone later. It only lasted a short period of time. And it just seemed like a whole mess for to get something that I didn't even, I'm oblivious to because I've always been like this. Well, now we know why I've always been like this. So the doctor and I talked about what our treatment plan was. I could, of course, continue taking daily pills, but sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, sometimes you have to double up, sometimes you don't. Or I can go the round of allergy shots, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And there are two ways that this allergist does them. You can do that. You have to build up the tolerance. So you go in for weekly shots every week for 6 months, or you can do cluster shots where you do 3 shots every week for 8 weeks. Either way, after the initial round of shots, whether it's the 6 months or the 8 weeks, then you just go to monthly shots, supposedly for 3 to 4 years, and then you can come off of them. But everybody I've talked to is like, no, we still have to keep up with the shots, period. If we go off, then we don't really get the benefit. He did explain that your allergies never truly go away. It just makes your symptoms more controllable, and it dials them back between 75 to 90% or something like that. And I thought, well, you know what? This means I don't have to take a pill every day, which is great. Got to give them the time to do the weekly shots. Don't mind doing that, especially since I get to work from home a couple days a week. I'll just choose the day that I get to work from home that week to go get my shots. It'll be fine. I've got plenty of sick time at work. I can even take the whole afternoon off and get some sewing done while I'm at it. So that'll be nice. For the next 8 weeks, I'll have 1 day a week where I'm going to work a half day. I'll get an allergy shot and I'll get some quilting time. And then the other thing, and this was honestly the big draw, it was that the serum that they're making for the allergy shot is tailored exactly for my allergy profile. So there's no more taking a generic over-the-counter allergy pill and hoping that it's going to do the trick. It's going to treat what I'm allergic to, and I'm kind of excited about that. So we'll see what happens. I will say I was talking to Tiffany and Scott and Ian and a couple others about this. But Tiffany said that Scott gets the shots all the time, and he used to have sinus infections all the time. And after he started getting the shots, his stuff cleared up. So I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to see where I am in a few months. So that was a 20-minute debrief for one question, and I see the chats rolling. So let's go see what else is going in here. Kimberly says, I did that. It cost me a fortune. I'm lucky to have good insurance. So according to the doctor and the nurse, it's not going to cost me more than $20 or $30 per visit. Yes, that's a lot week over week. So, but it's affordable, and I think my insurance covers a large portion of it too. So I Love to Sew says, I have been on every week allergy shots for a year plus 2 allergy meds daily and now an inhaler. Oh no, I hope that's not going to be the case for me, but we won't know until we try, right? Jean says, I was having testing done years ago. They didn't get to prick me. When they opened the vials to dip the needle, I couldn't breathe and water was running down my face. They had to get me out of there. Oh no. Shelby says, I had allergy shots as a kid. Unfortunately, they weren't as effective for me as expected. Oh, no. Okay. Free Spirit says, Becca, do allergies to dust mites mean you can't chase dust bunnies? Yes. Or when I do, I have to wear a mask. So I actually keep a drawer in my studio. It's a first aid drawer, but in there are facial coverings, face masks, whatever. So anytime I'm cleaning my fan, cleaning my vacuum cleaner, sweeping, any of that stuff, I have to put a mask on because it kicks stuff up, and I have to kind of wear that until that room settles down. You know, when we lived in Arlington, our house had hardwood floors throughout the whole home. Basement was tile, but either way, hard floors, no carpet. And it's kind of the same thing here, except for my studio, which has carpet. But that means that we sweep a lot. And I had a very large dog who shed a very large amount. And come to find out, I really am very allergic to dogs. I will admit, somewhat sensitive to my hypoallergenic dogs, but it's very manageable as long as I am medicated. Almost non-existent. Anyway, that being said, Jason would come in the front room and he would sweep. And as soon as I saw that broom come out, man, I had to leave, because every single time he started sweeping until all that stuff settled, I was done. I was done. I was sneezing. My eyes were itchy. My throat scratched, the whole thing. And it didn't take long for it to happen. It even was at the point where we allowed Aiden to be on the couch. We always had a cover on the couch, but his dander and stuff would get through the covers, even the dog ones that are supposed to be waterproof and whatever. And sometimes I think that's because he would dig around. I couldn't sit on the couch, so I just kind of got used to never sitting on my couch. Yeah, but anyway, all that to say, hopefully things will improve in the future. Allergist appointment was great. I know what I'm allergic to now. At least now I know. So, Brenda says, this thread me of year, this time of year, my dog shedding and pollen and mold, and I am miserable. Marcia says I have allergy-induced asthma. That the doctor did say that it is possible that I might have something like that. So we still keep is New York Beauty Mike Seppa? Because he wrote, "Hey baby," and only Mike writes that. So I'm like, New York baby, green name. It's Mike Seppa. You can't hide from me, dude. Anyway. Vacuum is better. It is. Last year for Christmas, my Brenda H, by the way, said vacuum is better. It is. You're right. And that's what we do now. This year, for Christmas, my husband bought me a Roomba for my studio because it's carpeted. And so the vacuum cleaner that we had in here, it can do hard floors as well. So that's now out in the main part of the house, and we run that over the hardwoods. It's a whole lot, and it has the HEPA filter and everything on it. So I can actually keep up with the floors if I wanted to. Swiffers actually work better than a broom and a dustpan too, by the way. So I would say like broom way down here, Swiffer with Swiffer dry, Swiffer wet mop, like the wet one, and then the vacuum. So there you go. Yes. As Azza just said, no sweeping hardwood floors. Vacuum cleaner with HEPA filters make it manageable with dogs. That is absolutely, I agree. I agree. All right, so I'm going to make a pillowcase, which means I need to grab, I did have a piece of paper that was printed out that told me what my fabric requirements were going to be, because I never really remember to make a standard, a yard, to make a standard pillowcase. We're going to need about a yard of fabric. You could do, cool. We're going to need a yard of fabric for our main, a 9-inch by width of, everything is by width of fabric. So they want 28 inches, so a yard. Excuse me. They want 28-inch by width of fabric for the main fabric, 9-inch by width of fabric for the cuff, and then the trim 2 inches by width of fabric. So I'm just going to pick out 3 fabrics that I like the way they look together. The first one, and we'll just keep doing that. We'll make whatever we got. So let's pick out 3 fabrics. So for the body, I want to pick a fabric that has a fun print that I want to highlight. And I'm going to look for something that I feel like I have a lot of. And my eye went to this almost right away. This is some rose print from the Love Note line. That's really pretty. So we're going to go with this for the main body. And then for the cuff, I think I want to pull out this green. And I know I have some of that green from that same line. I think I do anyway. Or something that looks close to it. So, I thought I did. Did it get moved? Did I put it in a different pile? Oh, yes, I did. Okay, here it is. I found it. I put it with the teals because it can read green or teal. So we're going to use that for maybe the cuff. And then I think if I can find this pink, which I'm pretty sure I have some of, for the strip, that would be fun. I think I have a striped pink from this same line. I can picture it in my head. I am shopping from my stash. If I were a pink striped fabric, because I don't remember if it was a coral or a pink, and maybe I used it all, but I have it in my Binding, yes. I cut it all up into binding. Is it still in here? It is. Sweet. Extra binding will work perfectly for that trim. Here it is. This is what I was thinking of. Yes, and it's already cut. So the only thing is they wanted your strip to be 2 inches by width of fabric. These are cut at 2.5. I'm going to use it anyway. It just means that my stripe is going to be a little bit thicker than it would have been, so no big deal. They want a 44-inch piece of this. Yes, okay, so we might be able to get a couple out of what I just pulled. Let's see, what do we have in, Mona did what? Says, I use saline spray to help clean out the allergens. Yeah, I did, he did call in a nasal spray that I'm supposed to start. I just haven't picked it up yet. Bad me. Maybe that's what I'll do this weekend. Kevin Green says, will you be doing the Cotton Cuts mystery quilt? No, I'm not going to this time. I might do one on my own and pay for it, but I'm not going to make content for it because I'm a little burned out and just want a break. I don't want to do another puzzle mystery quilt right now. And I'm honestly considering skipping this one from a personal sew, even though I have the fear of missing out. I know for me, I'm going to have fear of missing out when sign up happens because I get really excited about that. And I want to know what it looks like. And then it's going to be really big fear of missing out at the end when I see the reveal of the quilt because it's going to be gorgeous. But I don't want to sew it right now. And I don't want to make the content for it. And it's not fair to take a kit from Cotton Cuts if I'm not going to produce anything for them. So what I will tell you is there's a lot of content creators out there that are going to be doing this. Ian's going to continue doing it. He's doing a large, and I don't know if he announced his colorway yet or not. I think I saw from Sean that he announced his colorway. It's going to be a lot of fun. I will definitely be lurking and seeing how this turns out, but I'm going to sit this one out. And maybe in February, when the next one ships, I'll jump back on the bandwagon, but I need to take a pause. I have done every puzzle mystery quilt for the past several years. I love them. I just want to take a break from them. Just for one. Does that make sense? I think so. But it doesn't mean that I don't support Cotton Cuts. I just want to make that clear. It does not mean that I don't think the program is great, because I think it's wonderful. I love the idea of a pre-cut quilt. And if you're looking to do that, you're a beginner, you don't want to deal with cutting, it is the way to go. Absolutely. Highly recommend it. But I've done a lot and I just want to take a break. I want to breathe and take a break. So I have been talking to Cotton Cuts, though, about some other potential collabs with some of their other products. So maybe we'll do something else a little fun instead. More details to come on that later. Yes, Jewel, I am sewing the Sew Sampler Peaceful Baskets. Yep, I can only do so many blocks of the month, right? I can only do so many of them. Oh, sorry, never mind. That wasn't for me. Math Geek was asking New York Beauty, when do your kits arrive from So Yeah? I thought that was for me, and I almost read it. I was like, what kits? I didn't buy any kits, and then I realized it wasn't for me. That's why it didn't make any sense. Okay. Hi, Ginger Rivers. Hello, 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 Mennonite Farmhouse. Hello. Hey, guys, don't forget that we have a selfie command that will allow you to promote your own channel, because I do see several folks in here that have YouTube channels that would love for you to check them out. And you can do that by just typing !selfie if you have a channel. That will drop your link, and then folks can click on it and hop over and check out your content. And if they like what they see, they can give you a subscribe. So feel free to promote yourself with that. Geraldine Gatton says, hi, I'm late. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, one more thing while I'm getting this ready. If you didn't see this, you guys have got to see this. Check this out. So one of the things that I have been busy working on this weekend, or over the past week, is this. These are 2 products that I now have in my Etsy shop. You can do !Etsy in the live chat, and that'll get you a link over to my Etsy shop. These are kind of similar to almost like triangles on a roll, but a little different. I'm calling them the FPP template packs. They're basically basic blocks, and every sheet of paper, I'll show you this one first, gives you a size that you're going to make. This is FPP. And so if you want to make some 1-inch finished half square triangle units, you can print this off and use this and piece them FPP way. So all you have to do is trim up to the paper when you're done, and it's perfect and ready to go for you. There's all sizes in here. You have 1-inch finished, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5. Every half inch you have another one. These are free for my VIP members. It is in the VIP download area of my website. So if you are a member on my website, this is a free download for you. Or if you are not a member of my VIP site, you can buy each of these packs for $5. So this pack is $5. So the benefit here is you're going to be able to do all of these blocks. Once you buy the PDF, you have these templates for you forever, and they're always in one file. You print out the page you need for however many you need, and you're good to go. This one, honestly, when I made it, I was like, okay, this was a lot of work for something that most people are going to be like, really? Really? Half square triangle units? Yeah, really. I made half square triangle units. I get it. This is really easy to make. Most of us don't need a half square triangle unit for it. But the benefit here was that I made them for me. So if I ever do want to use them, I can. But also it built out the template to start doing this for other blocks. So I did the same thing for flying geese. So this pack, $5 as well on my Etsy shop. It gives you 1-inch by 2-inch finished, 1.25 by 2.5, 1.5 by 3, 1 3/4 by 3.5, 2 by 4, 2 1/4 by 4.5, 2.5 by 5, oops, 3-inch by 6, 2 3/4 by 5.5, 3 1/4 by 6.5, 3.5 by 7, and then 3 3/4 by 7.5. And basically I just went as big as I could, without requiring you to print out 2 sheets of paper and tape your templates together. If I couldn't get the template on one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, I did not make it. So that is in the shop right now. It is also in the download area, the VIP download for my website. Speaking of VIP, this Sunday from 2 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Eastern, we are doing our May Zoom. So if you are a channel supporter here, your name is in green, or you are a member of my VIP monthly membership on my website, you will both have access to that Zoom link, and it will be available for you tomorrow. We will email the link out tomorrow, and we will drop the link on the community tab tomorrow. So Saturday, May 25th, 2024, the links will be available for you. All right, I think I've covered everything. I do have plans to make more. I've got several already. I've got a list of all the ones I'm going to do. So this is not something that I've just been like, oh, I'm going to do one. I'm doing a whole series in this, and every template pack is $5, and you have it for the rest of your life. So there you go. You can always re-download it from Etsy. It's always there. All right, so let's get back to the cutting. If I could find my paper that told me there it is. All right, so the first piece that I'm going to cut off is my little accent piece. It wants me to, everything is with the fabric. And so with the fabric in my head is going to be 44 inches because that's what they listed here. So I'm just going to, those I don't have to worry about because they're already with the fabric, but this one I do because it's already been pieced. So I'm just gonna, I actually see where it was pieced down here. So I'm just gonna cut right there actually. I see where I pieced it kind of on the diagonal a bit. So, and that is actually 40 inches. So there we go, that works. Just gonna eyeball it because I know I'm gonna square it all up anyway. There we go. Now, if you're not doing this, what you would have had to do is cut off a piece of fabric that was width of fabric from your bolt, measuring 2 inches, again, mine is 2.5. And then you're going to go through and press it in half all the way along this edge wrong sides together. And since this is binding, that was already done for me. So this was a no-brainer to grab it. That's why I got so excited when I was like, oh wait, it's already binding. Just grab some leftover binding for this project. For your cuff, you're going to need to cut off a 9-inch piece by width of fabric. And to do that, I'm going to grab a ruler. And I'm not starching any of this fabric, by the way, because I'm not. I'm just sewing it together. This is a project that is extremely forgiving. A beginner can totally do it. And you're going to see how quick these go together in just a moment. And the other fun thing about this, we're going to put these together using what's called French seams. That means the seams that are going to be inside of the pillowcase are going to be hidden and protected. So you're not going to have any messy threads or fraying going on in your pillowcase. And you don't need a serger to do that. All you need is a straight stitch on a machine. All right, there is my 9-inch cut. We are going to be using the Burrito Method. For those of you that already know what that is, that'll help you be like, oh, what are we doing? Okay, oh yeah, that makes sense. Now, if you have directional fabric, you can absolutely cut it so that the direction is going the way that you want. I've cut mine just with the fabric, so it means the direction of my fabric is going to be laying sideways. If that bothers you, you can cut a 44-inch piece of your fabric and then cut a 9-inch from that. That just seemed a little wasteful unless I'm going to make a ton of these. So I will deal with the hearts going in the opposite direction, especially because this is going to be a donation for somebody out there. I am sure probably some little girl is going to absolutely love this, but who knows? Maybe it'll be some little boy that will absolutely love the hearts and the flowers. All right, and now for the body, they want us to cut a 28-inch piece. Now my cutting mat is only 23 inches, so I'm going to measure out 23. I'm going to pick this up and move this over to the 10-inch mark, and then another 5, which would get me to my 28. There we go. Jewel Soren says, hello, I got home late. What is the project? I am making pillowcases that I will throw in the mail to send off to, so yeah. So that's 23. I am just cutting off this last little bit here because it's not, actually, it doesn't even matter if it's perfectly, because we're going to end up trimming all this up. But I'm gonna make it 28 inches, just like it said to do. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Now, see if I can remember how to do this. I did take screenshots because I think it's cuff, body, trim. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I am going to open up all of my fabric, and I think I'm going to dry press it just to get any wrinkles that might be in here out. If you want to stain press it or starch it, that's on you. I'm not going to worry about that. Linda says, hey, Becca, I got my homebody mini together this week. Thank you for inspiring me. Oh, yeah. You guys haven't seen it unless you saw my short. I did finish mine. I woke up Saturday morning with a fresh set of eyes, and it is done. Yeah. So I actually finished what I started. How about that? How about that? Let's hang it up back here. This is what I did last week. We started it on the live stream. I got frustrated. I finished it offline, and now you can admire it over my shoulder. Will you be able to have your manicures done after the 8 weeks? Monkey Man is asking. I don't know. I don't know. My nails are kind of thin from all of the filing and stuff that I've been doing, so I think I'm just going to wear them natural for a while until they get a little healthier, and then we'll figure it out. Wildcat49 says, beautiful. Hello, Wildcat. All right, we're gonna set this over here. I'm gonna pull this out. This is gonna be a little difficult to press on a small mat like this. Might have to think about opportunities to make this mat bigger. Got some ideas in my head. Joan Reed says, hello, Becca, and all in the chat. We had storms and plenty of rain today. Hope all are safe from them. Hello, hello, hello. Greenland Quilter is here. Dahlia is here. Hello, hello, hello. Barbara says that is a beautiful block. Thank you. I am just using a hot dry iron to knock out the wrinkles and the folds in this fabric. I'm not worrying about adding a lot of body or a lot of starch. That's not really needed. This project is very forgiving, and I may even wash this quickly before I toss it in the mail. Wouldn't it be great if I could get like a whole load of these done, and I could like a whole laundry load of pillowcases? It's just a few seams. You're going to see how quick and easy this is and be like, oh my gosh, I can make a whole bunch. I would challenge you. How many could you make and drop in the mail first thing Tuesday morning? It's Memorial Day weekend. So what better way to spend than maybe commit to make like 5 and drop them in the mail. If you drop them in the mail first thing Tuesday morning, they will likely still get there before the deadline of the 31st. And honestly, even if they did get there the 31st, I am sure the guys are still going to appreciate it. They're still going to use them. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. All right, one more crease. There we go. Everything's ironed and ready to go. So, who's sewing with me on Sunday? I'm going to actually be quilting a quilt. I will be there. Wow, Donna mailed, 50 pillowcases. They were so easy and fun to make. Hello, Aunt Nancy Jean. What is the best fabric to use for pillowcases? Deborah is asking. I'm just using regular quilting cotton. I've made them out of batik. I've made them out of quilting cotton. My daughter does have really dry hair, and so maybe some people might want something that's a little bit more silky, not just cotton, but I'm just using regular cotton. Yes, I can do many using my stash. Absolutely. And I might do many that are just like this one. All right, so the first step is to take the cuff piece and lay it down, opened all the way up, so the right side is up, and you have one selvage on one side and the other selvage on the other side. And then we're going to take the body of our fabric and lay it on top of that, also right side up. And this is where my brain usually gets a little tricked, because I'm like, wait, am I doing this right? Yes, we're doing this right. Unless I'm not. And then somebody in the chat will tell me that I'm not. But I'm pretty sure I'm doing this right. You may find that the widths of your fabric, even though you have selvage to selvage, even though they're from the same fabric manufacturer, even though they might even be from the same fabric line, might not be exactly the same width. Don't worry about that. It's going to be okay. But you are going to make sure that those raw edges all the way along are nice and lined up. And then you're going to grab your trim piece. And remember, I said you were going to cut this at 2 inches by width of fabric and then fold it in half, wrong sides together, all the way along that whole length. I'm using recycled binding, so mine is cut at 2.5 inches and folded in half. And what I'm going to do is take that folded raw edge, not the folded crease size, but the raw edges up at the top, and I'm going to line that up along here. Now, when I first started doing this, I panicked. I felt like I had to have everything absolutely perfectly lined up, and it had to lay flat, like the whole thing had to lay flat as I was going. And what I've learned in the years since I've been sewing is as long as the area that I am working on right here is flat, it's going to be fine. And so what I'm going to do is with those 3 pieces of fabric all together, all on top of one another, I'm going to make sure that the raw edges up here are all nice and lined up. And I'll go to that overhead for you so that you can kind of see a little bit better of what I'm doing. And we'll get you the shot of the machine as we sew. So what I'm going to do here is just grab some clips. You could use pins if you'd like to. We're going to line those raw edges up, and we're just going to clip all the way down. All we're trying to do is hold these layers together and keep that raw edge lined up-ish. If you're off by a couple of threads, don't worry about it. Don't stress. Like I said, this is a forgiving project. Ah, thank you, Molly. Molly Fisher says, Becca, all the pillowcases are going to foster children and possibly the homeless shelter. I love that. And I am so happy you told me that, because that makes me even happier that I'm going to be able to jump in on this. I love that they're doing something for the foster children. Just making sure that the area of the fabric that I am trying to pin and the few inches off to the left are relatively flat. If I don't, it's whatever I have enough desk space for, to be honest. We'll grab this, line it all up. So my sister's 40th birthday, I have two sisters. My youngest sister's 40th birthday was earlier this week. And for her birthday, I bought her a lounge fly set. If you don't know what lounge fly is, they make purses and bags and stuff. And most of them are licensed type of print. So there's a lot of Disney bags and whatever. And I've been, we kind of have this affinity for them. She and I, we look at them, we drool over them, and then we don't buy them because we keep telling ourselves they're not practical. And the ones that we've seen in person have been like really small miniature backpack style purses. And while the designs are super cute and we love to look at them, we keep thinking, dude, we're moms, we're older. Like, the only place that would be appropriate for us to carry it around all the time would be like Disney World. So why would we spend the money? Well, I found a Little Mermaid lounge fly that was to die for, and she got it today. It was supposed to be delivered, but it was delayed. It is what it is. And I was super excited to see that this purse is big. And I made sure to get one that had a strap that she could wear it crossbody, and it sits where she likes it to sit. When she opened it, she was like, really? She wasn't not appreciative, but she wasn't sure she was going to use it. So she was thinking about returning it. And I told her, look, it was a shot in the dark. I did it because we share that affinity, right, for those, but I get it if you want to return it. So no hard feelings either way. So she was like, okay, well, I think I'm going to return it. Will that be all right? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Feel free. And so she pulls it out to look at it. She's like, let me look at it first. And then when she saw how long the strap was and how big the bag was, she's like, no, I'm going to keep it for me. But I also bought her a coordinating Little Mermaid lounge fly wallet and then like a cosmetic bag set. It's like 3 bags. Oh, unfortunately, those got sent here. So, because I was a dodo head and I chose the wrong shipping address. But I will be putting those in the mail to her tomorrow. So everybody tell Alicia happy birthday in the chat. She's probably not watching, but you know, you never know if she's lurking. All right, I just did the next step and didn't tell you. Donna is saying before I sew this, she's saying, isn't the 9-inch strip up, then the accent strip, then the main body right side down? You might be right. I'm going to go double check my photos because I totally always, nope. The photo that I took, it is the cuff, the main fabric, then the trim. I did do it right. So the next step that you're going to do once all of those are clipped or pinned together is you're going to take this main body piece, and this is why they call it the Burrito Method. You're going to roll this up. So, oh, by the way, Day, Alicia shares a birthday with you. Just say it. You're going to roll this all the way up so that it goes up above the cuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to get it out of the way. Let me pull this up here so you can see what I did. There you go. Once this is rolled all the way up, then we're going to pick up this next piece and fold it up. And I'm just going to match that raw edge. You didn't see what I did. I just matched the raw edge right along with the raw edges that were clipped before, just like this. just like this. Somebody said that their pattern showed it differently. There's probably more than one way to do this. This is the way that I know how to do it. But try it the other way. It probably doesn't matter what order they're in as long as they're all there, right? And you know what? If this doesn't work out, then we'll try the other way. It's nothing that a seam ripper can't fix, right? Happy belated birthday, Teresa. She said her birthday was yesterday. I am going to do this. I don't know if this is going to be something that we will like, but I did turn on a feature on my camera that will keep my face in this frame focused. So when I move, the camera is going to follow me. We'll see if we like that. Let me know if you don't. I can turn it off with just the click of a button, but we'll test it out and see. That way, as I'm moving back and forth, hopefully I stay in frame and you don't see me kind of go off camera. If I get too far out of wide, it'll just do really wide angle lens. All right, once all of that is clipped, we have something that looks like this, right? Then we're going to take this over to our sewing machine, and all along this edge that we have clipped, we're going to stitch with a roughly 1/4 inch seam allowance. But the beauty of this is you don't have to be exact. If your 1/4 inch isn't perfect, you're going to be fine. So I'm not going to stress about how big my seam allowance is. I'm just going to stitch. I am reaching in here though to make sure that that bulk of the main fabric that's rolled up isn't going to be caught in my seam. So as I'm stitching, I'm just making sure that I'm only going through that one layer of my main body of fabric, the folded trim, and then the 2 pieces of cuff, the one at the bottom and the one on the top. And we're going to make our burrito. Oh, hey, look, I'm not sewing that whole way. I didn't have one single stitch. I was air sewing the whole time. Patty Sears is asking, what are the name of the slippers you like to wear, Becca? They are called Snoozies. Snoozies. See if we can get it working this time. I don't know if it was the bobbin not working. There's definitely enough thread in that bobbin, or maybe the needle just had come undone. Not sure. I'm going to re-clip this to kind of hold it in place, just to make sure everything lines back up. Keep it nice and flat. Shove this body down. Match up those raw edges. Hair sewing, no fun, Donna said. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Fine. It's fine. So with Debbie says, hello everyone, I'm just popping in while making dinner. What's for dinner? Wiring minds would like to know. All right, try that again. Here we go. Off and running. I thought it sounded like it wasn't sewing too. I should have checked. Oh, it sounds like it's sewing now, and there are the stitches. So yep, we're good. All right, no more air sewing. Great. Same thing I did before. Approximately 1/4 inch. Uh-oh. Trying to get all this lined back up because this one got a little out of whack. I can see the little holes in the fibers from when I air sewed before, so I think it just got a little out of whack from before. But like I said, it is very forgiving, so if it's not perfectly lined up, you're still going to be okay. Pork tenderloin with a nice big salad, Debbie said. Sounds great. Last night, my daughter had her spring band concert, so we went and watched her play, and my stepdad was in. He came all the way up from Southwest Virginia just to go to her concert, which is so funny because that's like a 7-hour drive. He drove 7 hours all the way up here to spend a couple of days and 7 hours to go back home just to watch her play 3 songs. That's love. That's love. Anywho, he is back home safe and sound now. But my mother-in-law is here. She's been here for a little while with us. She spends a lot of time here lately. We gave her one of our bedrooms. It's her room. So when she's here, she has a place of her own. My mom's been here for a while and will be here for a while. And so all of us, after Zoe's concert last night, went to Texas Roadhouse. So good. Oh, so good. It was funny because I knew what was going to happen. Rosie Lee, thank you so much. Or Rose Lee, thank you so much for subscribing. It was so funny to see, to watch. So I knew what was going to happen. I knew what Zoe was going to get. I knew that Jason and I could split an entree because we're just at that age where we can just share a meal now. And I knew my mother-in-law and my mom and my stepdad were all going to order their own entree. And then Jason ordered an appetizer too. And then they have that ridiculously yummy bread. So the waitress comes and goes around the table and takes everybody's order. And she looks at me and she's like, "And what can I get for you?" I was like, "A side of macaroni and cheese." And she was like, "Is that all?" I was like, "Maybe some green beans." And I didn't even eat. I had like a bite of the green beans. But my mother-in-law did have them. We took them in her to-go container. I didn't really like them. I liked the corn better. So I had half of Zoe's corn, a couple bites of my macaroni and, well, not even half. I had a few bites of Zoe's corn, a few bites of my macaroni and cheese, like 2 or 3 rolls, which was a lot of starch. But then I had, like, as everybody else's plate came out, I literally handed them an empty plate and I went tax all around the table. So I got some of my some of my dad's shrimp. I got a piece of his shrimp, a couple pieces of his steak, 1 bite of my mom's steak, 2 or 3 bites of Jason's salmon, and 2 or 3 bites of Brenda's ribs. And I was like, I'm a cheap date. All I got was like a tea and a macaroni and cheese. And I ate off everybody else's plate. And there was so much food with those portions that I was able to bring them home. Brenda had a hefty to-go container, and I took all of my leftovers and put them in there, and I had that for lunch today. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. As I was going back to the restroom at the beginning of the meal, I had to go to the restroom. I walked past and I saw a box and I peeked inside and they had the packages of the peanuts. And I went, this is the place that used to have the peanuts everywhere. So when I got to the table, I had also asked the lady, I was like, can we get the peanuts still? She's like, oh yeah, sure. I'll bring some out. So she brought out 2 bags of peanuts. So I introduced Zoe to the peanut thing and told her about how they used to be everywhere. We opened up 1 bag of them. I had a handful of them and put them away. I still have them. So I have 1 closed bag that hasn't been opened, and then the other part of the bag that I started last night at dinner, and now I'm thinking I really want some peanuts. Yum. All right. Anyway, once you have your burrito made, it looks something like this. We're going to reach into one end of the burrito, and we're going to grab that body fabric, and we're just going to start tugging on it like this until we pull it right side out. There will be a point in this where it's going to start to get a little difficult to pull. Just kind of keep focusing on this crease right here as the fabric comes out. And if it starts to get hard to pull out, then I like to take this, smooth it down on this end because it's usually bunched up here and makes it hard for you to turn. And then just grab and start pulling some more out. And then once you get through that point, it just comes open real easy. Now the next step is to give this a really, really nice crease. So this is what I like to do. I grab out my iron, turn it on, And all I'm worried about is this area up here at the top. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to first do this from well, it doesn't really matter which way I do it. I'm just going to give the cuff fabric a bit of a tug and kind of push this seam up so that it's laying flat. And I'm going to finger press this seam all along here. And then I'll make sure I'm doing the same thing from the back. Finger press it like that. And then I'll move down to the next little bit. We want to get this pressed over. This is probably the most finicky thing of the entire project. Rachel Nelson says, did you know that you can ask them for a bag of rolls to go? Yes. And did you know that you can buy them unbaked too? You can bake them at home if you would like. We did take rolls home. VR says, you're sitting there talking about steaks and salmon and all the peanuts you can eat, and I'm sitting here making brownies. Kathy Claycomb says, I love your choice of colors. Thank you. It's going to be a very pretty pillowcase when it's all done. Now, if you have some special tags, this would be a great place to kind of work those into your project. And I'll show you where I put mine. It's usually the last step of the piece. So now you have something that looks like this, right? From the front, you have a cuff with the strip, and from the back, you have a cuff. And then I'm going to bring in my hot iron and give this crease that I just finger pressed a nice dry press. I'm not worrying about starching it or anything like that. I just want this to be creased. So I'm gonna iron, I'm not pressing, just pushing the fabric up to this crease up here. I'm gonna do that all along this whole thing. And the only reason why this is even finicky is because it's just a wide piece of fabric. But it's not that big of a deal. There you go. Now we'll do this one. Like that. And now we'll do this one. Just like that. I am going to do a quick gut check. I'm going to turn it over. You know who might have a really good recipe for some rolls and some breads is Mennonite Farmhouse. And I see she just typed exclamation selfie. I know she's been doing some recipes on her channel. So I bet you she has a really good bread recipe if you guys want to check it out. Just like that. And then last one here. See, this is why I do it from both sides, because sometimes one side is not completely flat or pressed all the way up. Gets me nice and clean. All right. I am happy that my hearts are going up this way, but this reads as a polka dot, so it's not really going to matter if they're going which direction, which is why I wasn't worried about it. Now, our next step is going to be to take this and fold it wrong sides together so that the cuff is at the top and we have this length going all the way down. And for this part, I do like to make sure that it is laying relatively flat. It does want us to trim this. To 21 inches. It says fold in half and cut off excess fabric to measure 21 inches. I'll be honest with you, I never cut it down. Unless you mean, oh yeah, okay, no, I think they mean here. Yeah, that's what I do. So you fold it in half this way so that you can get through those layers. Make sure those are lined up. And then I fold it in half so that the crease of the cuff is with the bottom of that body of fabric. And we're gonna measure, I'm gonna fold it again one more time so I can get my ruler all the way through here. I'm going to line up the fold of that fabric on the 0. Make sure that my fabric is folded square. There we go. And now I'm going to fold this up and I'm going to place this folded edge on the 0-inch line of my, I feel like I'm zoomed way in here with the overhead camera. Let me see what I can do to fix that. I'm going to lay it on the 0-inch line of my cutting mat. That's what I'm talking about. Yep, I am zoomed in. I don't need it to be zoomed in. Let's do regular. There we go. That's better. And the colors are actually truer now too. Should have done this a while ago. Then I'm going to grab my ruler. I'm going to find the 21-inch mark on my mat. And I'm just going to cut this. And Joy said, Becca, that pillowcase is so pretty. Thank you. I think so too. And if you keep salvages, this is a salvage that you could keep and do something with. I don't collect them, but if you did, that is totally usable. All right, now this whole edge is nice and clean. So the next step is going to be, ooh, look what I messed up right here. Do you see how this isn't squared, but the rest of the pillowcase is? This is how I'm going to recover from that. I'm just going to clean this up so it's straight. I know that this edge is nice and straight because I just cleaned it up with my rotary cutter. So now I'm going to fold this fold up on top of the pillowcase body. I'm going to line everything else up. Am I going to do that, or are we just going to have a wonky pillowcase? We might just be having a wonky pillowcase. Hold on. I think we have a wonky, okay, there we go. It's not perfectly straight though. Okay, mine is not perfectly square. And I'm going to put this one together just like this because I want to show you that it's not going to matter if yours is not perfectly square when it's all said and done. So I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and those two edges that I cleaned up where I trimmed it 21 inches, I'm going to start at the cuff and I'm going to back stitch here. We are sewing this wrong sides together, so you should be looking at the pretty side of your fabric, and we're going to sew with about 1/4 of an inch. A scant 1/4 of an inch would be lovely. The next seam we're going to take is going to be a very big seam allowance because that's going to encase what we do here. So if you want to sew with 1/8 of an inch, you're welcome to. A scant 1/4 inch, whatever you want, just make it a narrow seam allowance and make sure you're going through all of the layers and back stitch right when you start, because you're going to be putting, there will eventually be stress on that seam. Just go all the way down. I'm going to sew all the way off of the fabric. Then I'm going to stop and pivot 90 degrees. And I'm going to start and come across the bottom. I'm only doing 2 sides. The top side I need to stay open, and it's already finished because of the way we did the cuff. And the other side has a crease in it, so that's already nice and finished, so you don't need to worry about that. I had in here, I thought, but I might have put it over in my notions drawer. I want to grab something. Oh, here they are, right here. Cool. I have a tin of labels. So I am going to find a fun label. Maybe just one that says Sew Becca on it. I'm going to set this up here because I'm going to need that for the final step. So I just want to have that ready. My next step is going to be to turn this inside out. I'm just going to reach in, I'm going to grab the inside, and I'm going to turn it inside out and give it a good shake. Now, when I do that, I do like to take a minute to kind of finger press the seams and roll them to make sure that they're flat and kind of right up against each other. You don't have to clip them, not a problem. You can take your time, by the way, when we did that first one, to make sure that your cuff and your accent fabric are lined up and clip them in place. I did that and just held it there, but if they don't match up, it's no big deal. We're just going to put that in place. I'm just kind of finger creasing it. I'll grab a couple of clips just to hold it where there's some bulk. And you can kind of feel when you're doing this, by the way, where that other seam is in here. So you kind of got an idea for how wide your seam is going to need to be. But we've got so much fabric in here, it won't be a big deal. I'm poking this corner out, just rolling it in my fingers. Carol Lawrence says, good evening here. Just got here. Good evening from Delaware. Hello, Carol. French seam method, Debbie is asking. Yes. This is encasing the seam that we just took. So we sew it with the wrong sides together first, and then we sew it like we normally would, except the edges along both of the sides where we're going to sew, because it's only going to be the two sides, are now folded in. And so the inside is going to have these really pretty seams that are going to be nice and clean and stand up to so much washing. Now, this is the last time we're going to sew, and then we're all done. And so what I like to do is up near the top, I take my label, I fold mine in half because mine's printed two sides. You can't really see it here. And I'm just going to line it up with the cuff. And I'm going to make sure that it is, I like to put mine on the accent piece. So I'm going to set it right here and just kind of put it in position so that I know it's going to get caught when I do my sewing and it's in the place where I want it to be. And then I'll grab a clip and hold all of that together so that when I sew through, I should hopefully catch that where it is. Now, hey, Teresa. Haven't seen you in a minute. How are you doing? Teresa Louise, do exclamation selfie in the chat. Let everybody know how to find you. All right, so now I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew this with about 3/8 or a 1/2 inch seam allowance. It doesn't really matter what you use as long as it's bigger than that 1/4 inch or whatever it is that you did in the beginning. We just don't want any stragglers or to catch any fabric. But if you do, it'll be okay. You can always cut that away or rip that seam and make it bigger. Well, you don't. If you have to make it bigger, you don't have to rip the seam. You just take another seam. All right, here we go. I am going to back stitch at the start and end of this because I want to keep that together. And I'm just going to go down the bottom or the side, wherever I started. No rules. No measuring, just sewing. Couple seams and you're done. You spend more time pressing the fabric than you actually do sewing this together. When I get to that corner, approximately far enough away from where my seam's going to be, then I'm just going to pivot and I'm going to come down the other side. Now for this one, I have that label in here and I can kind of feel the bulk of where the label is. So I'm just going to open it up and make sure that if I continue sewing where that needle is, that I'm not going to completely lose my label. So I did shift that over just a little bit. I'm going to back stitch over that label a couple times because I'd like that to stay. And then I'm just going to sew off of the cuff. But when I get to the end, I'm going to back stitch and cut my thread. And there you have it. When it is all done, you should have a pillowcase that looks like this. We're going to put our arms in it. You can see the edges are all nice and finished. There's no raw edges. We're going to turn it right side out, give it a shake, and there you have the Burrito Method pillowcase. Now, I do have my little label here, and it's just ever so faint. Look, just little tiny, and you can see the name on it. That's great. The other thing that you could do is if you're making this for a loved one, you can always do a personalized label there. That would be a lot of fun. If you wanted to write like a special note with a friction pen and make a special label, you could put it on the inside of the pillowcase, like right along here. So they always have a special note from you, maybe like love mom, love grandma, something like that would be a lot of fun too. Maybe you could write like a little prayer, right? Put it in there. Like if you want your little grandbaby to have a special, maybe say a special nighttime prayer with them or whatever, that would be really cool. Maybe a special blessing. That's really neat. So once this is all done, then you're just ready to toss it on your pillow. It's done. I'm just going to fold mine up somewhat nicely. Oh, let me show you this. We're going to go to the overhead shot for a minute. So do you see how I have kind of some threads here? Maybe it's a little hard to see. You might have this along the edge of your French seam. That just means that you got a little too close to your fabric. You can snip those off, but this is what I was talking about. If you can see your fabric poking out along this, just turn it inside out, go back along those sides and just take a bigger seam allowance. You don't have to pick anything out, just make your seam allowance bigger. It will make this, here's an example, right? These are just threads that are poking through, so I'm just going to snip them. But if it was fabric, I could go back through and, sorry, concentrating on snipping the threads. My mom would be proud. If it was a piece of full-on fabric, you could just go back through and retake that seam allowance until you don't have it anymore. It's just going to mean that your pillowcase is a little bit smaller than what you expected, but there's enough give in here that you should be fine. So I will type this into the description box down below because I am sure people are going to ask. I do have sizes to make all. I have a standard, a queen, and a king pillowcase sizes for you. So let me give those to you. This is from a download that I got from J. Howell Designs. I'll try and see if I can find the actual link for it, and I'll put that in the description box down below. But I just want to mention, I mean, they're all over the place. You can find them everywhere. So let's recenter me. No, let's turn that back off. Thank you. Recenter. There we go. Well, no. Stop it. All right. For the standard pillowcase, which is what I made tonight, for the main body of your fabric, which is the roses, you need a 44-inch by 36-inch. Oh, wait. Sorry. If you're just going to make it out of one piece of fabric, that's what you need. That's not what we're doing. Let me give you what I did. For the main body of the fabric, you're going to need a cut of fabric that is 28 inches by width of fabric. For the cuff, you need a 9-inch piece of fabric by width of fabric. And for this accent strip, this pink right here, you need width of fabric by 2 inches or some leftover binding that's ready to go because I have a ton of that. So there you go. Hey, Martha, how are you? How are you? All right, I am going to wash these before I send them, but I will probably make some more. So I think I might get another one queued up while I'm sitting here chatting with you guys. But first, I don't have my water cup, so I'm going to do a quick intermission. I'm going to go grab some ice water, and I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. What are you going to sew this weekend? There you go. I'll be right back. All right. All right. I got my water and I even brought my Texas Roadhouse peanuts, and I'm going to have a couple. I don't care. It's fine. Somebody was asking just before I ran out of here to get my water. Somebody was asking about the join button for the channel. I really need to make that a command. I will work on that over the course of this week. But if you go to my channel, the main page, right on the main So Becca page, there should be a join option right there. And that should allow you to actually join. And there's 2 levels, $1.99 or $4.99. I appreciate either one. None of my memberships, there are never any hard feelings if you're in for a month and then never come back, or you're in for a month because you have the extra money now and need to cancel. No hard feelings. Join when you can, leave when you need to, no pressure. I'm still here. The content on YouTube is always going to be free. So here we go. Wildcat49 says, I'm lurking as I start some laundry. Better you than me. One more peanut, and then I'll take a drink, and we'll start another pillowcase. I'm looking at the chat to see if there was anything that I missed. Becca's music screams jazz, Linda Gillespie said. Ooh, Zaza is sandwiching her continuum quilt as the batting has finally arrived. Ruth says this weekend she's going to finish the binding on a small throw quilt for her best friend who is turning 70 soon, not 72, 70 soon. She ordered new furniture, so I'm planning on giving her a book, chocolate, wine, and a quilt. Wow, my mom's going to be 70 this year. I'm giving her a sewing area in her house. I think I finally convinced her to take a sewing machine home when she leaves. The baby lock might be going down to stay with her. I told her she could take the table it's sitting on, the chair it's sitting on, the iron that's next to it, like all the things that are over there. I will have a hole of furniture in my sewing room that I can fill later. But I told her if it will help her sew while she's home, she should take it. And then when she comes up here, I always have a second machine. She can use that, or she can bring this one up here. But she knows how to independently operate that one, so why not? Even if she only sews one day in between her visits, it's worth it being down there. I'm just putting my snoozies back on because my feet are a little chilly. I feel like a little bit like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood right now, where he sits down and changes his shoes and his jacket. Anyway, let's see. What do we have in the chat? Jan Haskin, thank you for subscribing. VR says, Becca, you can add some peanuts to my brownies. Linda said, eat some peanuts for me. Okay, I'll have 2 more. New York Beauty said, yeah, Becca, can I be your mom? Mom used to joke with me all the time that when she was working, all the girls there kept trying to adopt me because they wanted the gifts that she was getting. She likes to brag about the things that her kids do for her. So, if that makes her feel loved, I'm not doing it for the bragging rights. I'm doing it because it makes her feel loved. Plus, it'll give her something to work on. So I think I've convinced her to start piecing some small NICU quilts because she's been talking about this forever. I want to make NICU quilts. I want to make NICU quilts. So I think I've talked her into doing that. I told her if she took the sewing machine home, I would always make sure that she has a quilt kit cut and labeled and ready to go. I will walk her through how to do it over Zoom or FaceTime or whatever is needed. She doesn't have to buy anything. She just has to piece it. And then when it's all pieced, I will quilt it and bind it, and we will put a label on it together. She can, we'll make sure she's getting credit for making that quilt, and we will donate it. She and I together can make those. That can be a service project type thing that the two of us can do, but it'll give her something to do with her time in retirement other than just playing on the iPad and going to church, because that's kind of all she does right now. She comes here, she plays on the iPad, and she goes to church. She needs to do some other things. Carol says, I thought your mom was moving in with you. So about that, my mom is ready to move in right now. So they have a fully furnished apartment downstairs. Everything's there, ready to go. My stepdad is not ready to move yet. He wants to be independent a little while longer. So right now, they're just continuing to split their time. Mom comes up here for a couple of months, and then she goes down there. And then she comes up, and there's certain time, usually she's here in January, February timeframe, around that time to celebrate my birthday with me. We do Christmas. She'll stay until my birthday celebrated, and then she'll go back. And then she usually comes back in the spring for a little while, and then makes another trip towards the end of summer-ish, usually sometimes. And then she doesn't travel usually until after Christmas again. So she makes about 3 or 4 trips up here, and each time she's here, it's for a month or so. But in between, it can be 2 or 3, sometimes 4 months before they're coming up here. She actually wasn't supposed to be up here until next week, but what happened was the car that they drive is under mine and Jason's name, and it's registered to our address in Northern Virginia because it's under our name. So it needed an emissions inspection this year, and we totally lost sight of that. So they came up here. Mom was here for a very long time, like 3 months almost. No, 2.5 months. She was here for a very long time. And then they packed up, and she had planned to go home and not come back up until Memorial Day weekend, which would have been now. She would have been coming up now. However, the tags expired in April, and so we needed to get that emission test done in April so that we could get the tags done, and no place where they live did the emissions inspections because it's a Northern Virginia thing. So they had to drive the car all the way up here so that I could get the emissions tested and get the tags renewed. And so when they came up here, she was just going to be here for a couple of days with Rick, my stepdad, but then she decided just to stay because she had the retreat anyway, and why not? So she's been sewing a lot since she's been here. She's been sewing a lot. So I was really excited that Rick came up for a little bit for this week. He came up for the week and stayed too. So they got to spend some time together, and he got to see Zoe's concert and all that other stuff. But he has gone back home now. Mom will be here for a couple more weeks, and then I think she's going to go back home. And then we're going down there to visit her for 4th of July because we're throwing her a 70th birthday party because her birthday's in July. So Joy is asking, what is the difference between a channel membership and a VIP membership? Aw, Linda said, Becca, God's smiling down on you. Thank you. Jeanne is asking, where does she live? She lives in Wise, Virginia. My mom's birthday is July 26th. If you want to send her birthday mail, I will put like a postcard. Like, don't send her, you don't have to spend money on her. She's fine. She has everything she could ever want. But if you would like to send her a birthday card in July, she does have a P.O. box that I will put in the description box of this video. And if you don't remember which video it was on, feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to share that with you. Donna Hoskins says, Becca, I just finished a batch of NICU quilts and blankets, all different styles and patterns. Also made bags with lightweight canvas for each one. Yes, they are decorated or quilted, etc. Awesome. I want to go back to the other question that came up. What is the difference, Joy's asking, between a channel membership and a VIP membership? So both of them are ways to help financially support me. The channel membership, I call those channel supporters. That is a way that you support me through YouTube. YouTube handles all the payment information. I don't see it. It's all through YouTube's secure site. So I don't do any of that. I can't control it. You got to do it on your own. But when you sign up for that, I get 70% of whatever that level is. So you can sign up for the $1.99 or the $4.99 one. Either one, I'll get 70% of both of either one of those. So if you sign up for the $4.99, what is that like? I get like $3.50 of that, $3.50, something like that. So YouTube's going to keep their share, period. But for that price, your name will be green in the live chat. As you can see, Ruth Roberts, New York Beauty, Jeanne, Jackie, and Math Geek is. And then next to it, you'll have a little heart, and that heart changes colors for however long you're here. And you do have access to different emojis that are down in the description box down below. And I wonder if I can do this yet. They keep telling me that I should be able to, or they've mentioned before that I should be able to gift memberships. And I'm keeping, like, I keep looking at it to see if maybe I can gift it, but it's not popped up just yet. And so I'm wondering, I'm checking now to see if I can gift any. Membership gifting. Nope, I still have to buy my own gifts to give. I'm not going to buy my gifts to give though. No, I would rather give you a VIP membership. So let me tell you what the VIP membership is. Oh, by the way, either one of those tiers that you sign up for, I'm going to try to pay closer attention. I can't guarantee that I will always see you, but I do try to pay closer attention when I'm looking at the chat for those that have a green name. So you can see Guess Who Nancy is there. I can see her name is green. So if your name is green, it visually jumps out at me, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to always see it no matter what. So you just see. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a screen that was going to let me see only messages from channel members. So I'll give you priority response to comments, live chat interaction, but I'm not going to alienate the rest of the audience. So if you can't sign up, it don't feel like I'm only going to talk to you if you pay. So Patty Sears isn't green. The VIP membership and the channel supporters is not the same. They are not linked. Completely different programs. The channel supporters is run by YouTube, and it's a way I can get an extra cut. VIP membership is run entirely by me. Both of them have access to the Zooms when I do them. So every month, on the last Sunday of the month, we do a 4-hour Zoom sew-in right on Zoom. The link will be made available tomorrow for both parties. So if you are a channel supporter, meaning your name is in green here, then there will be a link posted on the community tab tomorrow for you to join. If you are a VIP member, you will get that link in our private VIP Facebook group. It will also be in your email inbox. Oh, Mona, love you. Mona gifted 5 memberships. Now I'm going to go return that favor. I'll have to remember to return that favor. I love spreading the love because a lot of channels are starting to do memberships. And so what that allows you to do now by the gifting memberships, you can pay a one-time fee and YouTube will randomly pick X number or however many that you bought. It will randomly pick those people, that number that you bought, and gift them a membership for 30 days. And then after the 30 days, if you want to keep it, you have to pay to up it. So Mona, very kind. Do exclamation selfie. At least promote yourself for that. Get people to come over and check out your channel. All right. I like doing that too. That's why I was like, oh, I love it when they do that. Anyway, for the VIP membership, gosh, I'm just all over the place today. Squirrel. The VIP membership, you get the Zoom. It does not give you the name in green over here. You do not get the special emojis. You do not get your name with the heart next to it because it is a different program. I call it my exclusive access. Still get the Zoom. But in addition to that, you also get a monthly newsletter for me. I think I skipped May's, but I did send something out later. So still got an email from me. You have access to a private Facebook group, not the Sew Becca and Friends, but Sew Becca VIP, where only the exclusive, think of that as like behind the stages. And then the other thing that you get is anytime I make a pattern or a download that I sell, you get it for free. So those FPP templates that I pointed out to you that are on my Etsy site, my Etsy shop, each of those FPP template packs are $5. You know what else is $5? My VIP membership over on my website. $5 a month or $55 for the year. If you buy 1 month, you get both of those packs plus every other pattern that I wrote for free. So you do the math, which one's the better deal. So there you go. Linda says, Becca, it's the peanuts. Squirrel! I'm a natural at that myself, right? Patty Louette, thank you so much for joining the channel memberships. I appreciate that. Well, it was actually a question. NICUs accept blanket donations? I actually don't know. I thought they did. My mom's been talking about it forever. So, hold on. What are we talking about with Ian and withdrawing guesses from the Google Forms? I'm going to scroll up while I'm figuring it out. Flicky Chicky shared projects on Facebook, and it's 9:39. So maybe we'll just go over to Facebook and look and see what you guys have been doing, rather than me trying to finish another pillowcase on a live stream. I showed you how to do it start to finish, so you can use that. Go back, rewind, watch me do it step by step if you want to make some. I am going to see how many I can make, and I'm going to drop them in the mail late Monday night, so that or early first thing Tuesday morning, so they are off on their way over to Vegas, and they're so yeah, by the end of the week. I'll figure out what's going on with that later. Oh, looks like Diane just joined. Thank you so much, Diane, for joining the channel sponsors. Barbara says, I love to watch you Friday nights, but not very computer savvy and not being... There's probably another part of that coming, so we'll wait and see what she says. Day says, have a great night, Becca, and everyone. Enjoy your long weekend. You too, Day. Enjoy the racetrack, and I bet you're glad to be home, or closer to home, and almost home. Silveretta James is here. Says, hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. All right. What was I going to talk about? Whirl. Oh, Facebook. We are going to go look. Oh, Barbara Iverson says, I'm worried of being scammed. I totally get it. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to take any payment other than credit cards. Sorry. And they're all through, I can tell you they're all through secure sites, all of that stuff. SSLs are there, certificates are there, very trustworthy processing, all of that stuff. However, I get it. You can never be too safe. If that is something that you are worried about, and Ian, I love you. Thank you. He just texted me. He's like, Facebook. Love you. If that is something that you are worried about, there are ways. And then he texted, oh, you figured it out. If that is something that you are worried about, there are ways that you can kind of get around that. And one of the things that you could do is purchase a prepaid credit card or debit card from your grocery store or whatever for your spending money. And if you got it as a reloadable one, you could put your money on there and use that for your online shopping. Just keep track of what the balance is. That way, if it ever did get jeopardized, it's just your spending money that would be that could have an issue. Your debit card, your credit card, all that other stuff would not be jeopardized. So that is one way around it. In this day and age, everything is bought online. You almost need a debit card, credit card to do any of that stuff. And if you do it that way, you're good. And by the way, just while we're at it, this is just a public service announcement. Because I love you, and I don't want to see you fall scam to this. If anybody calls you and tells you to go to Walmart to get a gift card, money card, whatever, because you owe them money, and if you don't pay it, you're going to go to jail or whatever, that is a scam. Hang up the phone. No company is going to take payment via a prepaid card for, like, they're not going to have you go buy bunches of those. If the IRS says you owe them money, they're going to notify you in writing, and you're going to hear about it a whole lot. It's going to be all the things. And they're going to give you a chance to dispute it. They're not just going to call you randomly on the phone. Just like, I promise you, do your due diligence. And these scammers are getting so good at what they do. There's one going around now where they're offering you work from home jobs, and if you take them up on their offer, then they say, okay, we just need to run a credit check and we need your background information, and they get all this information from you so that they can scam you later. And you thought it was a real job. They tell you they have an in-person interview for you set up and everything and all that other stuff. And then apparently they're going to ghost you afterwards. So just be very, very, very careful. Ian says, Becca, you mean the IRS isn't going to take the $500 in Dave & Buster's gift cards? Hey, listen, I don't think so. Yeah, Donna says you can also turn on fraud alert on your credit cards. Yep, I sure do. The other thing that I also do is if I'm nervous about something or I feel like there could be some issues, after I make the transaction, I'll go into my phone, into my banking app, and there's a setting underneath my debit card that I can toggle, like I can lock the card so nobody can use it. And that way, if it did get out or leaked, the transaction's not going to go through. It's going to decline, even if I swipe the card. The problem with that is sometimes I've left it turned on and I go to swipe the card and it declines. I'm like, oh, hold on. And then I turn it off. And then you got to stand there and look embarrassed for a minute. But it's not because the money's not in my account. It's because I locked my card so nobody was allowed to use it. I will tell you, not that I want to make this a speech to advocate for credit cards and all this other stuff. But if you are looking for a credit card or you want to use a credit card, I have an Apple Card. And it connects to my wallet on my phone, and that thing is amazing. I like the way it's set up. There's a lot of benefits that I like to it, but the one thing that I really love about it is anytime I feel like my card is compromised, I just press a button to request a new card number, and within like 10 seconds, I have a brand new card number. There was a live stream years ago that I did. I was sitting here and I found out that the little box of figs from Fig Tree and Company had launched for sign up, and those things were coveted. And if you didn't sign up right away, you were missing out on it. And so like I threw myself across my desk to sign up for that thing while I was still sharing my screen, showing you all what was going on in Facebook. And so you all saw me sign up for the little box of figs, and you saw me put my credit card information in the video on the screen. Now, somebody called it out to my attention right there on the live stream. So I went in and requested a new card number. So instantly that card number that you saw was already deactivated instantly. And then later, through the magic of editing in YouTube Studio, is able to blur out that portion of the screen so nobody could see it on the replay. But it happened. Like, that really happened. And the saving grace for me was I didn't have to pick up the phone to report the card compromised. I just opened my phone and I pressed the button and it was done. So I know, right? I know. Lori is asking, Becca, where did you get the shelving units behind you? Those are the IKEA Billy bookcase shelves. Linda says, I know my hospitals do not take any donations from outside. Yeah, if you're not sure whether your hospital or NICU or wherever will take a quilt donation from outside, call them before you make it. Call them before you make it. I do know that it might not be for NICU, it might be for something else, but I do know my quilt guild does take crib size blankets and infant blankets, and I thought it was for the NICU, but I think those, there are certain, I do have to make sure that the quilt meets certain criteria. It has to be a certain type of fabric, has to be a certain size, has to be all these things, but my guild does drives through them all the time. So I think it might be different for every hospital. Jeanne says, I had a friend that couldn't get into an account that he had, so he called this number and he found online on Google and then went right to the scammers and he almost lost $100,000 in the end. Yes, do not trust Google for the phone number either. Rule of thumb is always go directly to the website. Don't Google for a phone number for a company. Make sure you're on the real website. Don't click on links in emails. Don't call phone numbers in emails. They can make them look like they're coming from the real thing. If you bank with Bank of America and you get an email that says it's from Bank of America and it looks like it's from Bank of America, don't click on the link. Just open a new browser and type in bankofamerica.com or go to your app and do whatever you need to do from there. I got caught by that too. So, and don't feel bad, by the way, if that happens to you, don't feel bad because I've gotten caught with it a couple of times. They're very sneaky. I'm listening to a podcast series called, I don't remember the name of it. Is it Chameleon? I don't remember. But I don't know if that's a series or the people that make the podcast, but the season that I'm on, they're talking about these scammers that live overseas and scam people out of money. And this poor guy who has been financially independent his whole life, like he's been able to pay his own bills and he was in retirement and paying his own bills and everything, but he never asked for help. And he got scammed out of his entire life savings. And he was too, if I remember the way they told this, he was too ashamed to admit it to his daughter or ask for help. And he was so disheartened, he was depressed from it and ended up committing suicide. That is a very sensitive topic. We're not going to talk about that anymore, but I'm just saying, don't be ashamed to tell somebody if it happened. There's help out there. So and if you've got to call your kids or a loved one and be like, hey, this feels real sketchy to me. What do you think? Run it by somebody else. Yep. Jamie says their AI is another thing they can do. They can mask and duplicate their voices. Yeah. So I've heard that there's a new scam going around now where they can make the call look like it's coming from your child or your loved one or somebody, and the voice can sound like them too. So be careful about that. If somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm having a hard blah, 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 be like, okay, I'll call you right back. And then call them. Call them. Have a code word. Do something. Anyway, yeah, Facebook has a lot of them too. They comment on your comments asking you to be your friend. I do for my Facebook. I actually have a private Facebook profile, but I never use it. And I get people like subscribers all the time trying to friend request me, and I just delete them because I don't do anything with that. I interact on Facebook as everything is so Becca. So I don't know. I don't do anything with Facebook. Most of the time I ignore them. I'd be very diligent. Lots of scams. There was a question or a comment in here. Jason Statham's latest movie, Beekeeper, is about a scam company. I'll have to check that out. Gwendolyn says she only calls a number on her statements. Good call. Good tip. Good tip. Jewel says, check with the Ronald McDonald House. They gave me a beautiful baby quilt when my daughter was born preemie. That's an awesome idea. OMG, I hope I didn't get a scam Joanne sale today from Linda. Always use the number on the back of the card. Yep, that's right. You guys have all of these wonderful tips. Look at you. I love that we're building everybody up. Oh no, Casey says, my daughter was scammed from an online work from home scammer. She did not tell me she was considering applying for an online job and their requirements. If she had, I would have said, don't do it. Yep. I did. Yep. IKEA Billy bookcases. Yes, that's what I'm using. Oh, Auntie L says, I'm tardy. I've been shopping it. So yeah, it was a good sale. Awesome. I think I answered Lori's question a couple times. Okay. But there was another question in here that I felt like I was going to answer. Okay. Okay, I think I covered everything. Let's go take a look at Facebook and see what's going on in the chat. I want to see what you guys have been working on. And while I'm getting this loaded and everything set up, there is a message here from Ruth Roberts who says, true story. I just got off FaceTime with my son and granddaughter, and I told my son I was watching So Becca. His response was, don't give her your social security number. He's a bit over the top. Yeah, please don't give me your social security number. Please don't give me any of your private. Don't type your email address in the comments in the chat. Don't put your phone number in there. Don't give me your social. Don't. And just be careful. What POS system do you use? Oh, point of sale system. I use Stripe for all of my. Well, it depends. For Etsy, I use Etsy's payment processing system, which takes credit cards, debit cards, and PayPal, but all of that is handled through Etsy. And so that's really nice because if there's a problem, you can go to Etsy and they will take care of you. For YouTube, it's all handled through YouTube. So if there's a problem, you have to go through YouTube. I can't handle any of that. But for my website, or my membership program, I use Stripe. All right. Technically, no one is ever supposed to ask for it. You're right, Angela. You are right. Okay, let's get into the Show and Tell screen. And let's share. Where is the Safari thing? I gotta find the right Facebook thingamabob. There we go. Awesome. Awesome. S. Lopez says, I thought they meant piece of S system. I knew what they meant. Point of sale. I knew what they meant. Lily says, I was at an event that last weekend with a magician. He was able to guess people's cell pin. So glad my ATM pin is different. His skill was bonkers. Really? That would have been amazing to see. Listen, I get scammed too. This happens to me. We went to a casino years ago, and I used the ATM at the casino to get money. And that's all I used. I paid cash for everything there. And then that night, my card was compromised. So I'm even wary of using any cards in stores. I'm wary of ATMs, all of the things. They're so clever with how they can get your information. Auntie L says, I am taking a cruise next summer from London to Iceland. I guess I need to renew my passport, maybe is what you meant. Hallie says, first time doing any sewing in a couple of weeks. Working on my temperature quilt. It's yard work season here. I've been busy falling into a sinkhole on Monday. Yes, that's what it really says. While mowing some grass at the in-laws, getting my arms massacred by trimming the dead pampas grasses and raspberry bushes. And then attacked by some stinging nettles. Started filling my little pool and forgot to put the plugs in. So I was watering the lawn for 30 minutes. Oh, and I got a little sunburnt too. I'm afraid to do maybe it says more yard work, any important sewing with how my luck is going this week. Keeping your cards in a protective sleeve, that RFID protector, that's a good idea, Pat. That's a good idea. Roberta says, this is my first sew along. I have 11 burritos ready to sew. I was able to sew 2 of them during the live stream. The local fiber arts group is doing Ryan's Cases for Smiles as one of their service projects. Look at that. I don't care who you donate them to. Just donate them. Let's just make some pillowcases and donate them. If you've got a local service project, do that. If you don't, so yes, take them. Just give back. Let's use this weekend to give back. Melissa says, graduation gift for the new nurses in the family. Mondo bags and bendy bags. I'm going to work on 13 more bendy bags, which are the smaller ones, this weekend. Oh, I remember with a comment that I saw. Somebody's going to be working on the Holland pouch. One of the ones that I did a tutorial for. So I can't remember if she said how long it took me to put together. I would say that takes me about an hour, maybe less. But it's been a minute since I've put one together. Susan says, my quilt show challenge quilt. The theme was to be or not to be. I hand sewed the 2-inch hexes with bee fabrics, and embroidered B is for bee. I also hand quilted it. Aw. Nice. Very good. Ooh, I love those fabrics. Kelly Moiter says, I am making 4 of these blocks for a 24-inch wall hanging. What color border would you use? Ooh, I like that dark. Well, actually, no. I like the light. So if you look at this, right on the outside, if you use this color that is on the edges, it's like a pinky purpley on the sides. It kind of looks almost like a flying geese unit. It's also in the corners of the block. If you use that, it might help make the shape of that X and the star kind of pop out a little bit more because it'll be floating on it. That might be fun. That's what I would do. Or maybe a thin version of that and then a darker border. Oh, wow. Amanda says, 2 of my mostly finished quilt tops. They need borders, a granny square throw, and progress on a pile of UFOs. Let's take a look at these. I love that block, and I love how it all came together. I like the color placement, too. That's really nice. It's pretty. Kathy Has Faith says, sorry I missed the live tonight. We'll watch the replay. Good night, ladies. Good night. Oh, okay. Auntie L Handmaid says, so yeah, is donating to Ryan's Cases for Smiles also. Awesome. Cool. See, I have no idea what's actually happening. I'm just jumping in because I want to do it. So there we go. Oh, Marie. Marie Camden says, when someone calls me and asks for me by name, I say she died last night. That's not right. That's not right. Pooja says, it's time to put the binding on for this table topper. I love that. So pretty. Bill says, Bella in pre-op. Under the knife tomorrow. I'm guessing she's fasting for now. So if you guys don't know, I purchased a Singer 301 that fully works. I bought her for $50 off of Facebook Marketplace from a elderly couple about 15 minutes from here. And the lady, she had 2 vintage sewing machines that she was selling, but I just picked up the 301. And so I have sent her down to Bill's dad, who restores vintage sewing machines. And this is my 301. I have called her Bella. Bill has been calling her Frankenbella because we're taking her apart and we're going to put her back together again. Ooh, I got to send him that decal. I got to do that this weekend. I got to remember to do that. But also, she was missing the bed attachment, so we had to buy one off of eBay. So the bed that's going to be attached to her isn't her original part. So he's been calling her Frankenbella, and it might end up just being Frankenbella for the rest of her life. Good night, Tiffany. All right, let me refresh and see what else is out there. Carol says, I am starting Sir Legits a lot. The whole thing is looking a little bit overwhelming. Can you tell me how to begin? Yes. Start your fabric and sort them into buckets or bags or folders or some way so that every one of those is going to be a color code. And then just pick a block and do that one block at a time. One block at a time. And just keep making all the blocks until all the blocks are sewn together, and then sew those blocks together. I would start with the blocks that have the least amount of pieces and then get to the more complicated ones. Now, the complicated ones, you can break those up into smaller bits too, just to make you feel like you have a sense of accomplishment. So I think Cranky Kangaroo has a whole video series where she shows you how she breaks it down too. I don't like her binder method. I like using the file system. Tiffany's done Skulliver online too, so that would be another one that you could look at. And in the fall, I'll be starting a new Legit kit, and I'll do a video series on, not a video series, but I will be sharing some videos on what my process is going to be. So I know it's not right now, but it will be soon. Now, if it is if it's the block of the month, just do the block for that month. And that's it. I hope that helped. Okay, this is Silverita. She needs to add some borders now. She's got some beautiful churn dash quilt here. Christine, these are the 2 quilts that she just finished and is gifted to some friends. Ooh, I spy some line work fabric on the quilt on the left. Carol says, thanks, that helps. Awesome. Ian. You nut. Kathy says, I finally finished it. It is king size. I love that. That's so pretty. Oh, I love how all the shapes are, there's symmetry, but it's still kind of like all different which ways. Was this a pattern that you used, or like how? Inquiring minds want to know. I love that. Let me know. If you have a pattern, will you email me or just comment on the post in the comments what the pattern was? That would be great. And then we're back to Holly's post. Okay, let's refresh and see if anybody else posted anything. Lucky Chicky says, my rainbow quilt. I'm Amanda. Hi, Amanda. Amanda says, my rainbow quilt is a Hunter Star if anyone wants to try one. Oh, that rainbow quilt that I showed you, it's a Hunter Star. Jody Smith says, I have just finished an FPP drawstring bag for my sewing friend who loves the color yellow. Well, that's a very nice drawstring bag. Jamie is asking, have I missed Ian's moving plans? I have been away for a few weeks. I don't believe so. I don't think he's revealed it, but I think he is going to reveal his location soon. And he has a form. I'm looking to go to one of his videos. Wow. What you get in chat, you guys get to see what pops up on my YouTube feed now. Anyway, the off-kilter crafter Ian. I like marching band videos, don't judge me. I'm looking to see if in his live stream he has the link for his Where is Ian form. Oh, Ian, can you text me the link for your Where's Ian form? Because it's not in your video and I want to pull it up. So now I'll just sit here and wait a minute until it actually shows. He does have a series of clues that are on that form, which is why I'm going to pull it up. And then we'll put in, maybe he can just put it in the chat. We'll put in the chat. Yeah, Linda Gillespie says, I like marching band videos too. Cadence all the way, baby. Yeah, absolutely. I like watching dancing videos, especially when it's like more than one person dancing. So Fun Creation says, this is Kathy. The green quilt is an old Missouri Star quilt, half hexy stained glass. Thank you. Half hexy stained glass. I'm going to write that down because I think I want to make that. Okay. I will just text it to Ian because I don't have a pen. Oh, he's also going to text me his link. So there we go. All right. Where in the world is Ian Sandiego moving? He likes the movie Carmen Sandiego. It's time to say goodbye to Texas, but where will I be moving? Let's play a fun take a guess as to where I will be moving, and if you are right, you'll be entered into a drawing for a fun giveaway. I have given some clues and more might be coming. More might be given out, but be warned, you can only make one guess. Once you think you are ready to make your guess, come fill out this form. Make sure you enter a valid email address. You'll receive your copy of an entry and the winner will be contacted via email. So I will put the link to that form in the chat if you want to play. And he does have clues. Oh, that's hilarious. I actually haven't even looked at the form. All right. So the clues that he has given so far, are I am going to be moving somewhere that doesn't have a Dutch Bros coffee nearby. My new location has gotten as little as 0.4 inches of snow and as much as 73 inches in a winter season. Holy cow, that's a lot of snow. I can drive a vehicle to where I am moving. So from his house to the place where he's going, he can drive. I will have access to a large Renaissance fair. I will be moving out of Tornado Alley. I'm going to be moving north of where I currently live. The state I'm moving to has a beach. Now, guys, remember, beaches could be on lakes. Doesn't mean that it's on the coast. I will be moving east of my current location. And for those of you that don't know, he's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Holy cow. These clues. This state is one of the original 13 states, and then the last one I feel like is almost a 10 giveaway. This state is for lovers. Oh, shoot. I'm just gonna... Okay. I'll put the link for that form back in the chat. Feel free to fill it out. If you guess it right, you'll be entered for a drawing. I can't guess here. It won't get you an entry. Put your guess on the form. I did not expect to see those last two clues. I've missed. Yes, you just need to guess the state. New York. Was New York one of the 13? Massachusetts. New Hampshire. Maine. Was Maine one of the original 13? Anyway. Anywho, that's all I got for tonight, friends. We're going to end it on a bang. I see the comments. I'm going to ignore every one of them because I'm not trying to steal any guesses. I know where he's going, but I'm not going to tell you. But you'll find out next week because I think his plan is to tell you very, 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 very soon. So, thank you, friends, for hanging out with me. It was a blast, as always. Make some pillowcases. Send them off to somebody that's collecting for the Ryan Smiles event. And I'll see you guys all oh, no. I will see you either Monday during the day or Sunday night or both because I'm going to do a live stream and get some stuff done. See you guys all then. Bye, friends. Where'd it go? Where is it? Come on. There it is. Bye, friends.